doing Edo's catch-up. I will.
I'm Josh.
I'm going to stay at this octave for the rest of the thing.
No, I know you won't.
No, I'm not. That's the thing of the years, basically. That's what this one's all about.
Thing of the year.
Thing of the year.
Nailed it. So basically our top 3 of each of the main things that we often talk about. TV shows, movies, and video games.
I tried to keep up with your fingers.
There you go.
But I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Doing fast, even though I look really tired.
Yeah, you're faster than me.
I'm doing all right.
It's been a funny year, because I think, like, with a lot of these, like, especially with gaming-related podcasts and stuff, it's like everyone's played the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like our top 5.
Yes.
But it doesn't work like that for us, because A, we have different tastes.
Yes.
And we're not being paid, well, we kind of are, to all play the same things. So usually we're not playing the same things, but also just... This year's been so strange in terms of distribution of things that I feel like we've both watched and played completely different things. So it'll be interesting. And that is why we're doing 3 each. So there's a cumulative, possibly 6, although I feel like some of them
could be
probably... Yeah.
Especially shows and movies, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
This is basically like just our personal top favorites. It's not like...
The best.
This is why I think this is the best movie of the year. This is just like... I've spent a solid amount of time with this, or I really enjoyed this personally.
Yeah.
This is all personal preference, so...
These are recs.
Don't at us.
Yeah. These are recs more than bests.
Yeah.
I've actually got 2 honorables for the movie, so I'll just quickly give those, because I just want to say these names. It's The Invisible Man and Guns Akimbo.
Okay.
Invisible Man shot in Australia, Guns Akimbo shot in New Zealand, so 2 homegrowns. And also, bringing up The Invisible Man, it doesn't hit my top 3 because the third act's a bit nonsense, and then Guns Akimbo doesn't because it's a bit shit. And I'm only bringing it up because we have been waiting for that movie, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that have as well. Yeah. That movie's out now. That's the one with Daniel Radcliffe and the guns.
Yes.
Not Daniel Radcliffe and the dogs. That was a different movie.
Okay.
And the one where he's just got thousands of dogs on a dog lead. He's walking dogs.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Almost 2 simultaneous filming pictures. One, him insanely holding 2 guns, and then another photo of him holding just, 8 dogs.
It's the best.
So, yeah.
Dogs Akimbo.
Dogs Akimbo. Maybe that was a sequel.
It's a sequel,
realize.
Yeah. I would have, 5...
in total?
Well, 5, what do you call it? What did you call yours?
Honorables.
Honorable mentions. Yeah. Because there's only 5 other movies other than my top 3 that I believe that I've seen that came out this year.
Yeah.
There's not many. 4 of them start with E.
Oh, weird.
Sorry, 3 of them. Emma, Extraction, and Eurovision Song Contest.
Interesting.
3 movies that I had seen. They're not on my top 3.
Yeah.
And also...
Extraction was very good. That was close. That was close to me. I did like that.
And also, I didn't know what to swap this with or whether to put it on there, so this was so damn close. But The New Mutants.
Yep.
It was a great movie.
That was very good.
Also, the guy from Zing the other day, I saw him, I was wearing my New Mutant shirt.
Oh, sick.
And he was like, God bless you for wearing a New Mutant shirt.
Oh,
he
nice.
freaking loved it.
Good,
and
Justin.
Huge conversation about it. That was pretty much what got him into comic books, was the original
run
series.
Sick.
And he said he's bought every single New Mutants comic since.
Good.
We had a great conversation about,
awesome.
that movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
and he's
good.
like, yeah, right?
Good. Love that man.
He's great. And The Witches, which I only saw yesterday. Cool. Not really an honorable mention, because I still don't know what I think.
Yeah,
good. It was a bit weird. But my third...
Yep.
There's a second and third.
Yeah.
I'll just do whatever order.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, Josh doesn't rank things like that. Usually there's
very
just
well.
3 things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
My third would probably be Birds of Prey.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is on my list as well. That's my third as well.
Cool.
There you
go. So, yeah, that was just a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
DC's, sillier movies, just fun when you turn your brain off for a little while.
Totally. And it's almost a similar vein as Wonder Woman where... Well, thankfully, everyone's pretty good in it. But if the Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn weren't good, Ewan McGregor and Zars? No, he's that. The other guy that's in the movie, they steal the show as well.
Yes.
But they're such a great duo.
Yeah.
It hurts that he's not in any movies after that because, he's such a fun bad guy and he's having so much fun.
Yes.
When he just suddenly swears... It's so fun. I love it.
It's so, yeah, it is, like, Ewan McGregor, that's a different guy.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's not Ewan McGregor that you would ever know.
It's not Obi-Wan.
Has he ever played a bad guy?
Well, like, Trainspotting is a bunch of ruffian Scottish men, which is what he became famous in. So he almost started in a more rough character.
Okay.
But he's very much an old dad now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you see him like Shakespeare and stuff.
Like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Crazy.
Yeah, great fun movie. I liked the roller skating bit with Canary Cry. I know other people didn't, but that's fine.
Oh, it was weird.
I feel like my number 2, so that was our number 3, both of us, which is great. It's caught us up now. I feel like my number 2 might be on your list too. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Cool, yeah, that's my number 1.
Yeah.
But again, I don't really rank things.
Yeah,
but...
you're lucky. You don't have numbers on these, so I'm not spoiling your number 1.
Yeah.
Your number 1's still to come.
That definitely would have been my number 1.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. It's just fun, again.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's definitely been the year of, thankfully, the year of fun movies. The, like, dark, depressing films are all next year. They've all kind of been held off till next year when we're all hopeful.
Definitely a good thing considering the year.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Next year we're going to get, is it Michael Bay's COVID movie or whatever?
Yeah.
Who's doing like COVID 25. It's like, really? We don't need this right now.
We don't need to deal with that.
We don't need this in a few years.
Not at all.
We're still dealing with it now.
Yeah. I don't like that, man.
Jeez.
Yeah, Sonic's so fun. It's one of those movies that set its bar so low via its first trailer that it could only possibly be good.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, totally. I guess
that went terribly.
Like, yeah, and like the improvements they made for fans, which obviously isn't the way going forward. If your movie has a vision, stick with that vision.
Yes, please.
But the vision you had for this movie was bad, so
yes.
I'm glad it's changed.
Very good.
And just like Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman was
so damn good.
Perfection.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got an entire podcast on that.
We do. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie, but the greatest movie of this year, according to, I think I've seen like 27 from this year, which is not the 72 of last year.
Yep.
Version. It's Tenet. It's not Tenet. Tenet's not even on this list. I hated that movie. It is Soul, which is the new Pixar movie that went straight to Disney+. That thing is what I assume most people think Inside Out is, which is like an emotional roller coaster.
Right.
And like, probably I would say like the best Pixar movie since Cars, since like Finding Nemo or something. Sure. Like for me at least, it's capturing that Pixar feeling that I've not felt since I was a child.
And you only saw it like recently because it only came out. Like
it came out on Christmas. Yeah, Christmas Day.
Cool.
And it's getting great reviews as well. But yeah, Soul is my number 1 for the year. If you've got Disney Plus, check it out. It's not coming to cinemas, so you will just have to jump on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Cool. Fair enough. That's you recommended it to me the other day. I keep seeing it around on like everything, everywhere. It's just all the time.
There's TV commercials for it.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah. And it's only on Disney Plus.
Yes.
So it's essentially TV commercial for Disney Plus.
Basically.
Weird.
Yeah.
The only other one that I've got is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I just enjoyed the movie enough for it to at least make it above the other ones.
It's bizarre.
Maybe I should have swapped it with New Mutants. I don't know. Eurovision Song Contest was pretty damn funny too, but it was I don't know. Anyway, Wonder Woman's just on there. I have nothing else to say about that movie.
Like, I can't even direct you to a podcast about that movie, because we can't make one.
No.
It's such an empty... I had a conversation with Sam about it, and, like, it was just me slowly realizing how much more I didn't like about it. Like...
That's fair.
But it's, like, deservingly on your spot, despite all the massive problem that we discussed, which is a spoiler for the movie, so I don't... We shouldn't, but, like, it is... Like... You could go to jail because of something that Wonder Woman does in this movie. Yeah. And still it is in our Josh's top 3. I think in my like top 5 of the year or something.
Yeah. And it's still, what was it, like one of the top 3 best DC movies?
Yeah, totally,
Despite Wonder Woman doing something like heinously awful.
Yeah. It still hits that top tier.
But only heinously awful if you think about it.
Totally.
Maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But can we talk about the funniest scene? Not even that one.
Not even that.
Well, that was great as well.
Very, oh, yeah, totally.
The kids.
Yeah.
Freaking... All right. So there was like a teaser clip that came out or something in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was like a week or two before it came out, yeah.
And it's basically Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman fighting the bad guys, like, kind of this mini army, like, security team in the middle of a desert. So they're in Cairo in the film, and they're just, they're just going at it. They're just...
Yeah, that's typical action, slightly physics-defying. There's a bit where she flips the truck, and I still don't know how she did that. Like, she's underneath it, and then she's not.
Yeah. It's just like she just gets enough strength and just...
Yeah, that was very weird.
She's a superhero. And then, suddenly, middle of desert, middle of Cairo, not even in a city, not near anything, except, I think, a small hut.
Yeah.
These kids run out and start to play...
Good point.
...soccer on a dirt road.
Yeah.
But it's like, everything else is dirt anyway. This just happens to be a dirt pathway, and there's dirt either side. So they specifically ran out to the dirt pathway where the cars go past. But there's no other cars.
No.
There's just tanks and trucks everywhere.
Totally.
But they go out specifically right on this
bitumen
dirt road. Yeah. Barely even
It's
bitumen,
barely,
to play soccer. And then it's like, oh no, we have to save the kids.
Yeah.
Where'd they even come from?
You're
in the middle of the desert in Cairo.
Yeah, and also I feel like prior to that, a truck had blown up. Like something... Yeah. Even if they couldn't hear the tank treads and everything, a truck had done something that was... And like machine gun fire.
But you would absolutely hear those trucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's freaking tanks and cars.
Yeah. Move off the road. Yeah. And also, it is not the safest of areas.
No.
This would be familiar territory for these children.
Yeah.
It's not like...
It's war-torn.
Yeah, wherever country. I think they're in... Yeah, Cairo. It's like, just... This is not normal.
It's insane. It was like one of the funniest parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Will and I just burst out laughing as soon as these kids went out, started playing soccer. Like... Why? What are you doing? Look down the road. See that there's like a mini war happening coming towards you.
Top 3 films of the year.
So good. So good.
And then,
it's funny.
And like, obviously, because we're never going to talk about this movie ever again, Pedro Pascal, incredible.
Best part of the movie, by far.
Just undeniably having the time of his life.
So good. So good. There's so many... like Pascalisms.
Yeah, totally.
So funny.
I just fall in love with this man this year. It's just, it's wild. A film that's not on my list is We Can Be Heroes, which is the Shark Boy and Lava Girl-esque sequel, as well as it's from Robert Rodriguez.
Did that come out?
Yeah, that came out on Christmas. Christmas Day,
right.
Wonder Woman 84, Pedro. We Can Be Heroes, Pedro. Disney Behind the Scenes of Mando, Pedro.
Cool.
All on one day.
That's great.
He was in the theaters, he was on Netflix, and he was on Disney+. He's just freaking everywhere. But
he's probably rolling in it.
Absolutely. But he's in this movie for like 5 minutes. Don't watch it. It's horrible.
Right.
It's horrible.
I mean the other one.
The We Can Be Heroes. I mean, you can avoid Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch that movie either. But yeah, don't watch that. Don't watch We Can Be Heroes. Cool. It's real bad. It's like, because they kind of set it up as like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
They're in it for 30 seconds.
Oh.
They're like a cameo in this
everyone
universe.
got like real excited about.
Yeah, Taylor Lautner is not in it. He didn't come back.
That's crazy.
So Shark Boy just goes. He doesn't talk.
Yeah, right.
This is me.
I'll also say I've never seen it.
Yeah, right.
But I think I've maybe only out of all of those sorts of movies, I think I've only seen maybe the first 2 Spy Kids.
Yep.
I think that's it.
Yeah, old.
I was probably too old for the later ones.
Yeah.
I remember the hearing of them.
Yeah, there's lots of thumbs.
Just never came up.
Walking thumbs. Yeah. But yeah, no, terrible film. Real bad. The whole cast are children.
Right.
So if you think of the worst child actors, that's the main cast.
Sure.
So it's horrible.
Okay. Speaking of Pedro Pascal, should we move on to our favourite shows?
Yeah, we should. I've got like 3 things that I want to touch on because I'm like, these are things you should know exist, but they're not my favourite things.
Sure.
Number one, I didn't even look up if this is the correct name, but it's the Disney Plus Wonderful Adventures of Mickey. It's something. It's
so good.
It's insane. And they keep just adding episodes sporadically. So I think there's like 14 now, but
the season just keeps growing.
Yeah, it's real weird.
For some reason.
It's a Disney Plus show. It's not like it's airing and then they're adding shows. It's made for Disney Plus. So I'm like, oh, it's going. But it's like,
and it seems like they're adding like chunks of episodes.
Yeah.
It's not just like
a single.
Here's an episode every week. They're only like 8 minutes an episode or whatever. But yeah, it's not like they're just adding one every week. It's just like, oh, here's another 4.
Bunch of episodes.
Just go for it.
So it's fun. You said bit of Ren and Stimpy.
Very Ren and Stimpy-esque for those old guys out there that loved Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, totally. And then, a bit of like Rick and Morty kind of just weird, which I guess is probably taken from that era as well anyway.
Probably those sorts of vibes, but just like slightly modernized.
Yep.
So that would be your Rick and Morty-esque stuff.
And it's just full of Disney characters that you just wouldn't expect. And I looked through the thumbnails, the other ones. It seems like it's one of those things that sets up the core premise and then just gets deeper and deeper as it goes. So it looks like it gets a bit weirder the later episodes.
That kind of reminds me of one of the shows on my list, which we'll get to. Yeah. But you had another show to mention.
I was just going to say, I don't need to go into this. Clone Wars Season 7 was the start of this year. That could have been on the list, but there's 3 episodes that just suck in that run.
Sure.
So it doesn't quite hit. That came out here. Westworld Season 3 was the start of this year as well.
Oh, yeah.
That was really good, but also felt like the most vanilla that show's ever been. Like, there was no twist at any point. It was
seems like it's just... Yeah. Just
from the biggest show to, HBO Max
Season 1 was freaking awesome.
Yeah. They were definitely like riding on that being the takeover once Game of Thrones finished.
Yeah.
But both of those shows are now Game of Thrones gone, but also terrible reputation. And the last season, not great, unfortunately. And then the last thing, it's not on here, but also Doctor Who was at the start of this year. It's been a weird, long year for television.
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
One of the seasons of Doctor Who was the start of this year?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't remember that.
Maybe it wasn't.
I haven't watched any of...
Didn't you watch the one with the Master in it? You watched that with me, the first episode. Yeah.
First episode.
Was that this year? Did you watch it with me this year? I feel like it was this year.
Yeah, maybe.
It was New Year's.
Is that her only season so far?
No, it's the second season. She hasn't had a season for a year.
Maybe. They go to Australia?
Yeah, that was this year, right?
Ah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't look this up because I was like... Hopefully our combined memory will remember. It was definitely this year. I feel like it was you were still here at the start of the year.
Yeah.
That was it's not on the list.
It's the only episode of hers that I've seen.
Yeah, totally.
So I guess
if you've seen it.
If it's episode 1 of season 2.
The one with Stephen Fry is in it for like 10 seconds and then he dies.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
There you go. It's not on the list for a very good reason.
That.
Yeah. It's not on this. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Umbrella Academy season 2.
Nice.
Yes. We have a
podcast.
But yeah, just fun jaunt. Like pretty much every episode is great. I can't off the top of my head remember anything that I don't like.
Just that last episode's just a left turn.
A little bit, that's right, because it seems to end and then it doesn't.
It keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, have a podcast about it. But that was my number 3. And I think I said to you before this podcast started, I think these are the only 3 shows I watched this year that came out this year.
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of stuff that from other years. I almost put The Office on here because I forgot that Umbrella Academy season 2 came out, because I've just watched so much of The Office this year that I'm like, this is the only other show that I can think of that I've watched and enjoyed. But I was like, nah, 2020, this actually did come out. So there you go. Umbrella Academy.
The Office is apparently now like one of the most watched shows just this year specifically. It's just risen to an insane amount.
Great.
Like, it was already a cult show, but it's apparently just quadrupled in... Because it come to Netflix? Is that what it came to? It come to something.
I feel like the UK one might be on Netflix.
Yes.
But the US one I'm watching on Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 3 is The Boys Season 2.
Yep.
My entire...
I knew that would be on there.
Yeah, absolutely. When you said The Umbrella Academy, I'm like, this is a nice companion piece.
Yeah.
My entire list is Season 2s, which is really fun.
Me too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I feel like the other 2 in our list, we know what they are now.
Yes.
But real fun. Again, a whole podcast on this. But yeah, it's almost like Westworld's second season where I'm like, oh, you're slipping. Like, you were just the best show season 1, but now you've fallen, you don't know what you're extending, you're reaching a bit too deep.
Sure.
And losing your main through line a little bit. But still, like, what they do in that show is incredible.
Still have to freaking watch this thing.
You still need to do.
Do you have season 2?
I can locate it.
Cool.
I can procure it.
Cool.
But
I have season 1 from last year.
Yeah, you do need to watch it. I got to get back to Watchmen as well, but it's definitely along that vein, but just a lot more intense.
Did you finish The Watchmen?
I didn't. I think I got halfway through.
Okay. And there's only 1 season so far?
Yes. There's only 1 season ever. It was all one and done.
That's right, yes.
But yeah, Boys Season 2. There's a full podcast if you want to watch that. That's my number 3. What's your number 2?
Cool. Look, these are probably both of our number 1 and 2s.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what order to put it, but I'm going to put it in order of enjoyment because one of these I definitely enjoyed and laughed in more. So I'm going to treat that as more enjoyment than the other. So number 2, Mandalorian.
Yeah, cool. Good. We did an entire podcast last week.
We did.
You can check it out. We liked it.
And it is just great. It's like really good. Universally great.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that doesn't like it.
Especially this season. Last season was rough, but like everyone loves it. I will say, I didn't say it in the podcast, I didn't entirely enjoy the final episode. It actually, that's why it wasn't in my top list of episodes. I still haven't gone back and watched it, but when I watched it the first time, I was very mixed on it.
Okay.
But we're not spoiling it here. This isn't a spoiler cast for that. But that's the only episode in the whole season that I was like,
sure.
I don't know about this.
Okay.
But, yeah. There's 2 hours of the other. We've talked enough about that show.
Yes, absolutely. And your number 1?
Is the Harley Quinn, season 2-ish.
Is that actually your number 1?
No, my number 1 was Mando. So I cool. Swapped.
Yeah. They were the two, obviously, that I couldn't work out. I'm like, both like these, like equally for different reasons.
Yeah,
but absolutely. Harley Quinn, so
it's good. So good.
Yes,
it's
we have a podcast about that.
Yeah, we talked about it plenty. It's such a weird. The second season's very strange because I remember it as a bulk. Whereas the first season, I remember episodes kind of individually. Yeah. Okay. Second season feels like one long story because season 1 was just setting up every thread. Season 2 is knocking them all down.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just so much fun.
It is.
It is just the best thing DC's done in like the last 10 years.
Yeah, and this is the show that I was linking back to the Wonderful World of Mickey or whatever because there's just so many like abstract characters and stuff that they just bring in, and it's like, is that actually a guy? And then you look it up and it's like it's actually a character. Is. Like, there's just wild characters that they reach so deep into the DC universe to just like just rummage around and they're like, who the hell is that? Let's just chuck him in. It's fine. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
And it just works. Yeah. Because everything in that show is dumb and amazing.
And it's just so nice for a big company to just let loose on their like iconic, even like the iconic characters get attacked. Like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman have an orgy on a rooftop. Yeah. Like, that's not happening on Marvel's What If, is it?
Probably not. But it might happen on the Wonderful World of Mickey.
It's true. You could.
They've just gone ham on their iconic characters. And it's weird.
Goofy's terrible to look at. He's just horrible to look at. So that's Boys and Umbrella for number 3 for both of us. Number 2 is 1 and 2 are Mando and Harley Quinn. Yeah, no matter where you look at it.
Whatever order you want to put them in.
It's been a good year for TV.
Can I ask? I would have expected, although it may not have come out this year, Doom Patrol.
Yeah, I did look at it. I was close. Okay. Second season is rough, but predominantly they crunched 12 episodes down to 8 because of COVID. So there is an entire arc that they kind of just slip through. Sure. And it goes. So it's not on the show that it's not there.
Like the one time that you're like, they should have had more episodes.
It is because
you usually like them to cut.
I like them to cut it down, but when you've got six characters that all have interesting plots, it's like you need all those episodes to get through it. But in this, it was. It's not even that they rushed it. It's that halfway, or not even halfway through, the last episode just happens. Yeah. And it's like, so none of that. Like, basically, the 7 episodes that lead up to not that. There's 4 episodes that obviously led up to that thing that they didn't end up getting to finish.
Sure.
And people have been on the set and been like, yeah, this is what I saw. And people are like, so that never made it to the show. Right. There's literally things in the background that don't make sense because we didn't see it happen. Oh. That's how unfortunate this has been.
Damn.
So, yeah.
What if they're going to, like, fix that?
Yeah, or whether they'll drop the 4 episodes next year or something.
Because they did like a re-edit of Arrested Development season 4.
Yeah.
I think they kind of redid that to fix it.
They made it more like the show, which didn't quite fix it. It made it almost worse.
Oh,
it's because they had basically split up into each character rather than the cross. Story that they usually do, and then and then people are like, we want that, and it wasn't shot for that. So it's like to link to the bits, you just get 5 minutes of Ron Howard going, "This is what happened last episode." If you don't remember, rather than his fun little interstitials. Yeah. But it is possible that they could just re-drop that onto. I think it's HBO Max now because DC Universe is dead. Yes. That platform's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to have put it on here, but it didn't quite work. If anything, Titans season 2 got closer, but also that. Didn't stick a landing. So
a lot of season 2s this year.
Yeah, it's all been season 2.
Crazy.
And nothing got cancelled in their second season. Or like, last year was the year of cancellation. Whereas this year, everything's lasted. But they've lost episodes.
Yeah. But also, no one had anything else to do this year. So it's like, we just need shows.
Don't cancel anything.
Everyone watched everything.
Yeah.
This is going to be the most variation that we'll have now when we get to games.
And I will say, I have got...
Top 3.
2, 4, 6... I've got 7 games I just briefly want to touch on.
That's great. Okay.
One of them, I hope this isn't in yours, but I needed to touch on it for ETTO, which is Cloudpunk.
Not on my list.
Not on your list.
Freaking great.
It got close because I'm like, it was probably the first time the game has been important. Like, game has been important to ETTO.
Yeah.
Because it's like the first time we've both played it, and then I've played the entire thing on stream. And all that. Like, it is an incredible game.
Yeah.
With strange story. Sometimes it's really solid, sometimes it's not.
It's very basic.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to it.
Not at all.
But
you think there's a lot.
Well. Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah, but it's just done really well.
Yeah, and they're constantly updating it. Like, there's constant new posters. Like, we've added this feature, and it's like, but your game's 12 hours long. Like, what are you adding it for?
No, I'm not going back.
No.
I'm not going to go back and play it anytime soon.
No,
you've added this one little feature. It was great.
You lovely German man. I'm not touching your game again.
He was great. He was a nice guy.
But yeah, that needed to bring up. And the other one is the other one. Have you got any honorables? Or am I going to talk for a bit?
I guess my honorable that almost made it onto this list but didn't quite would be The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, come on.
I just wanted my list to be more interesting than... I liked The Last of Us too, because like half the planet liked that and the other half hated it and never played it. But yeah, just a technical marvel. Like pretty unique storytelling, especially for a game, making you essentially replay a game, but during like the same time period, but as a different player.
Yep.
Just didn't see that coming, I don't think. And yeah, it was just...
Everyone knows.
Great.
We did a podcast on that, didn't we? Surely
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Just a well put together game.
That got close to mine as well, but it's just the story didn't quite hit for me. Sure. So that's why. Otherwise, if the story was perfect, I wouldn't care about it being a vanilla list. It'd probably be on there. Yeah. But there's something about that story that didn't hit. The Pathless is one that got close, which is another game that came out kind of around the console launches, but it's on like PC and stuff as well. Real beautiful, simple little indie game. And another indie game is Parko Caravan, which is one of those, this is an app. It's one of those like one-touch games.
Yeah, okay.
I've been playing, I think it's Parko Unlimited or something for ages. This one came out, I think in like November or something. And it's basically...
either of these games.
Yeah, it's basically Snake, but you're a car and you pick up trolleys behind you, and so or dependent on whatever the level is, and so you're Snake, and so you're driving around picking up things, and you're, as Snake is, it gets longer, and then you can jump over, but then once you jump over, all those things will be doing that, and so it's like it's good fun, and the islands that you're on are quite small as well, and it's just one of those great unlimited run kind of games, because I'm not the one that usually touches it, but all of their games I've loved. Sure. So I wanted to bring that up.
You're not much of a like mobile gamey kind of guy. Really? You usually have one, but it's usually pretty abstract.
Yeah, totally. So, like that. There's another one which I found out was 2019, which is Overlock, which is a bunch of like little puzzles where you have to make sure all the pieces don't touch. That, which is another really cool game. I'll show you after. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
I'll show you after.
Have
you got more honourable, or should I just keep going? Any other ones?
No, not really. I struggled to just put this together.
It's very hard to...
There's a lot of games that I was like, I enjoyed that. But then the ones on my list were like, this made an impact.
Yeah. That's what all these are like. I want to just quickly mention them, but it's not, they're not that great.
No, just keep going.
Mario Kart Live Home Tour, which is the remote control of Mario Kart.
Yeah, cool.
That got close, because it's such an innovative...
Sick.
Perfectly executed idea.
Yeah.
Like, just...
Can you bring that over tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
New Year's
Let's
party?
do that.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year, everybody.
We didn't say that.
We didn't say it was a New Year's thing. We're recording this on New Year's Eve. You'll be watching this probably New Year's Day, Emmy.
Probably.
The Mario Kart Live Home Tour, it's so much fun. You'll play it later.
Yes.
It's phenomenal. It's so much better than it could have been. Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Another car, Dirt 5. Really solid racing game that I was very impressed with, because I played a lot of racing games this year. Most of them were shit. This was a good one. And then one, I won't even mention this one because I feel like it could be on your list. And then the last thing I wanted to say was screw Immortals Phoenix Rising. I'm tired of looking at it. I edited 3 different videos on it this year. I'm sure it's a great game.
Sure.
But I just wanted to mention that I'm tired of looking at it.
Did you end up buying it?
I bought it on PC.
Yes.
So I will definitely play it. It could end up on my list, but it's not.
At the moment, you're just exhausted of the game you haven't played.
No, I'm just so tired of looking at it.
That's fair.
It's like when I played Bug Snacks, because I edited the playback of it. I'd never hammered a button faster as Philbo was just waggling his nose.
That's why you speedrun it.
It took 10 minutes to get through the 40 minutes that Nick played.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know where all of this is.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying because I've had to listen to it and go, does this need to be here? So that first act of the game, my God.
I do love Yuri Lowenfeld's character though.
Yeah.
When he gets into his real gruff, when he's trying to lift something, he sounds like Spider Cop.
Totally.
It's just Spider Cop.
Yeah.
You're like, yes. But the rest of it, you can kind of tell, but his voices between. So Yuri Lowenthal, for people that don't know, is the voice of Spider-Man in Spider-Man games.
Yep.
So he's had this crossover here. 2 PS5 exclusive. Launch games.
Titles, yeah.
But yeah, his voice in that, it's different.
It is.
But then when he just puts a little bit more gruffness to it, it's 100% just Spider Cop.
It's crazy how easy he can slip into old mate from Rick and he almost sounds like Morty from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got, but it's totally there's just an underlying thing of that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's definitely Spider-Man.
It's so good. It's so cool. I guess as you were talking, the only other honorable mention would be Astrobot's Playroom.
Oh, yeah.
I freaking loved that game. I know it's just a tech demo. I know it just comes bundled with it, but it's great. Yeah. It's just a great game. It's so cute. It's such a good, love letter to PlayStation and everything they've done. When you walk around, you see these little camera guys, cameramen who are filming something happening, and it's a reference to a PlayStation exclusive.
Some deep cuts. There's some that I'm I gotta look that up. What is that?
There's some stuff that I didn't know. There's some stuff I only knew because my brother-in-law had it on his PSP.
Yeah, good.
Which is Fat Princess Fistful of Cake.
That's an assortment of words that shouldn't go together.
It's something like that. And it's on the water level.
Yeah.
So you start out on the beach, and then you go through, and there's a pool.
Yep.
In the pool area, there's diving boards that you can go off and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are off to the left when you walk in that room, but off to the right there is a really fat astrobot eating a piece of cake.
There you go.
And it's a reference to that game,
That's
which
bizarre.
I would not have known unless he had except for the fact that he had it on his PSP. I never played it.
Yeah.
But
you knew of it.
Super random.
Strange.
Yeah. But anyway, that game's just great. Really shows off the controller.
Sense. Yeah.
And I was playing it again yesterday with a friend who hadn't played a PS5 before, and it really, really, once again, has just made me want Unity to have to support the DualSense in its entirety. I just want to play with that thing in code.
Put those ants and spiders in there.
Do stuff, please. I want that so badly.
Yeah.
So that was just fun, and platinuming it is just a joy.
Yeah,
it's
good.
So much fun. Nothing is tedious at all in trying to get those platinums.
Yeah,
they're just fun little challenges and stuff.
I think I might go back. That might be my next game.
It's so fast. You get it in a couple of hours.
Yeah, good. I mean, look, my number 3 could just be the DualSense, because that thing is just the game of the year. That is just a phenomenal controller.
Gorgeous. It's so nice.
But this is such a strange list, because it's like there is definitely a number 2.
Yeah.
But the number 1 and 3 could be swapped.
Okay.
And I feel like I've ranked
number 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I feel like I've ranked it, and it's almost like the movies. I've ranked it for enjoyment, but I know which is the game of the year, just in general.
Okay.
But my number 3 would be Hades.
Okay.
Just because, and I would say it's almost all 3 of these are in the similar vein where it's it's a genre that I don't like, that they've made me like. I don't like roguelite.
Sure.
Going back, you've lost all your shit. I hate that. I want to finish a game.
Yeah.
I like a good story. I like it to be over.
But you liked, what was that other one?
Dead Cells?
Dead Cells.
Yeah, so it's in a similar vein to that, where that brought me around to it. This
Generally,
also
you don't like them.
I just hate them.
But those two versions, you're like, I like
me in.
this version of it.
Yeah, and I think this one, purely Ben would call it story. I wouldn't call it story. But just the pure thing of like, you can click on a person millions of times and there's always a new voice line that correlates to the thing you've just done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I hate about these games, where it's like, I just feel like this isn't improving. Like, nothing is changing about this. I'm just doing the same thing over and over again with no result. Whereas you get a 40-minute run in and then die, and then you go back to the start and someone says something that's almost specifically about where you got to or the chain of things that you did. And it's like, that's just made me enjoy this so much more.
Yeah.
And like we're talking about, we didn't think they was good at voice acting and all that, but all of them are so distinct and sexy, but distinct. Like, it's a phenomenal game. And the art style is a strange one, because I'm like, it is a mess. Like, it's a mess to look at, but it's like, it's not when you're playing. It's a mess, but everything that you need to see, you can see when you play it.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be a great one. A lot of these sorts of games wouldn't be great to be a bystander watching.
Yeah.
It makes sense when you're playing it, because you know what to focus on. But when you have the freedom to look around everywhere, you're like, what is
this?
Remember, Girlfriend Reviews did, I think they did like a 3-parter episode where like 3 games came out at the same time, or they were playing 3 games at the same time. So they were just like, this one, and this one, all in the same video. And one of them was Dead Cells.
Yep.
And Girlfriend, because everything about Girlfriend Reviews is, this is what it's like living with someone who played these games. It's not, this is my review of the game. So it's her watching Dead Cells, and she shows, like, there's clips and stuff where it's just a mess. Like, even me as a gamer, I don't even know what's going on, because there's just so much, like, so many particles and explosions and stuff happening. And her boyfriend was freaking loving it. He was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, there's just crazy stuff happening, because he gets it. He knows what's happening. Yeah, totally. But she just has no idea.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely that.
Yeah.
It's in that vein.
Might suffer from that a little bit. But yeah, I loved what I played of Hades. I didn't play enough for it to make it on.
Yep.
But I've heard, like, the writing and everything just gets better and better as you go on, and the story expands, and there's like a bunch of post-game stuff that Argon was playing, I think a whole bunch afterwards. So yeah
totally cool. It's one of those ones that I didn't expect a story. There was very much a story, so that's always nice.
Nice.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Thomas Brush's game Never Song.
Good.
This was very highly anticipated for me, because I've been following this guy for a couple of years, ever since he popped up on a PewDiePie video where he asked PewDiePie to dare him to make a video game in a weekend. It's what a weird thing to do, but man, I really think it put Thomas Brush on the map.
Yeah, at least yours.
Freaking mine, because I've followed that guy, watched nearly everything he's done since. I'm like this close to buying his new online course, but it's still probably too expensive.
Yep.
But yeah, he's just a great game developer, a really chill guy. And I played it on a ETTO video.
You did.
For probably maybe about a third to a quarter of it on there, because it's not a long game.
Yep.
But it is certainly different. It's like he does tension really well. The art style that he's got is really cool. I've seen videos of him of stuff that he's worked on since, and it's like that 2D art style, but he's somehow got it in 3D now, which is really cool. It looks great. And yeah, it's just a fun, cute, kind of creepy little story.
Yeah, cool.
And I was just looking forward to it so much that when it came out, just blasted through it. I kind of like almost didn't want to do that video for ETTO, because I'm like, I just want to sit down and play this whole thing.
Yeah.
But I did it anyway, and it was great. But yeah, it stood out to me a lot, because I was looking forward to it so much.
And it's hard for a lot of indie based games as well suffer from it, where it's like for so long it's anticipated, and then it comes out, and because it's indie small studio, it's always like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't quite... But if it nailed what you were hoping for in it?
It was probably, like, maybe a little shorter and, like, a little lesser, like...
Small in scope.
Excitement, than I was expecting. But I was just kind of like, yeah, look, it's
fun, dude.
He's an indie developer. Yeah. It's one guy that made this over, like, a couple of years. And, yeah, he loves it. He put his heart and soul into it over years and years. So, like, I'm like, that's pretty damn good. He did a fair effort for a solo dev to make and release this by himself. Like, yeah, there's so much you can learn from him online. So yeah, I recommend it if you just want to jump in and
it's number 3. It's
on Switch too.
Yeah, sick. Oh, cool, it's a Switch. That always helps with an indie.
Yes.
My next one is not an indie, but it's another genre which I have hated for so long, which is Ubisoft. It's Watch Dogs Legion, which I've just come around to in the past, like, 2 days.
What?
It's just...
I did not expect this to be
because
on your list.
I hate...
It crashed a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then you stopped and played Bugsnax instead.
But the thing is, I still wanted to go back to it after it crashed a bunch of... Yeah, it is one of those things where it's like, by that same token, I could have put Cyberpunk on this list or something.
Sure.
But it's just... I don't like the grind of Ubisoft games. Like, and ironically, the last one I probably enjoyed was Syndicate, which is also London.
Okay.
But I've slipped back into that rhythm, and it's really fun. And the concept of playing as anyone is slowly but surely becoming cooler to me.
Okay.
As it evolves, and, like, I've killed, like, my favorite people, and it sucks so much.
Yeah.
Because I am playing on the permadeath version as well, which basically means you lose everyone, you start the game again.
Wow.
So it is quite tension is building, because it's so funny, because even though you can just go get someone else, the person you take to go get that person could die.
Yes.
Like, it is a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, like, when someone is critically injured, you get a thing that's like, hey, maybe you should go employ a doctor so that they're not critically injured for as long. Or when someone gets arrested, it's like, maybe you should get a barrister, because at least then they wouldn't be in jail for quite as long.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's, like, great little mechanics at play, and I'm sure as I get deeper, it'll get more interesting. But yeah, it's like that idea, which I kind of dismissed at first, it's slowly building. The story is interesting.
Why didn't they talk about that stuff earlier?
Yeah, less so. They're like, oh, you can play as a granny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, employ certain people to
benefit your team.
Yeah. That's so much more interesting.
Yeah.
I want to play this now.
It's pretty cool.
What are they doing?
The thing that I would say about it is I almost wish that it was just a secret agent game. Like almost a James Bond-ish kind of spy game.
Yeah.
Because they set that up.
Rather than in the Watch Dogs.
Well, it could have been a Watch Dogs game, because, like, the first one's like a gritty Aiden Pierce. The second one's like a youthy, kind of hyper-stylized game.
Yeah.
Then this one could have been a spy game. Like, continuing that trend. This one just feels like, it's another Watch Dogs game. Great mechanics, which obviously I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
But they set up the idea of a secret agent character really early on, and it's like, you can see how all those, like, drones and hacking and stuff fit that mold, that it almost was disappointing to then be playing as other characters. Because I'm like, could have just played as that one guy and been a secret agent.
They just lent into that way more.
Yeah, which I would have loved, and maybe they'll do it as a DLC pack or something. And look, you can hire a spy and make the game just a spy if you can keep him alive.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the other great things. It's like, if you want to make it a pensioner game, it can be. But
be Granny Simulator.
Yeah. That's one of the best things when you're climbing over a thing and they're just so slow because they're all... It's such a great mechanic.
That is great.
But yeah, no, it's, as I said with Hades, it's a genre that I've just not enjoyed for so long. Like, I got through Far Cry 5, but I was still like, it's such a grind.
Yep.
I do think probably the location helps. Because it is based on a real place, it feels real.
Sure.
And lived in, which is really nice. Cool. And yeah, it's huge.
Kind of like Spider-Man in New York.
Totally. It's totally that. Yeah.
That just feels
That's a
real.
very good point.
Until, again, I was playing yesterday and we were just, like, watching the AI and, like, standing on top of cars. And it was just like,
damn it.
This AI actually really sucks.
I can't remember if it was this game. I was watching a video. I think it's Watch Dogs. If you kill someone and they've got, like, a family thing going on, people will start to mourn for them. Like they'll go to like a gravesite and stuff. Like there's a whole. I feel
How
like
do you follow them?
You can just like friggin' Red Dead. People have like somewhat of a life. Because you know, Red Dead, people have an entire life. Yeah. It's kind of got like a simplified version of that.
I'm just wondering, like, do you mean like if one of your characters dies?
Yeah. And then
or like if you just kill a pedestrian.
Sure no, it's like no, yeah, God, you kill a lot of pedestrians. That's one of the weirdest things as well. Like everyone you kill could be a member of your team. Like as you're running over people, you're like, could have used them. But I think it's like when one of your team members die, you can find their partner at like a gravesite. And then enlist them. I think that was the thing. Yeah.
Sick.
As a cool little twist.
I know you can hire anyone, but I hadn't thought of that. Like you go to the gravesite and you're like, hey,
do you want to avenge your husband?
Come help us out. This is what your husband was doing.
So that's a thing.
That's cool.
There's a lot of this. Yeah, it's just a very deep game unexpectedly.
Can you just I'm stuck to
this
grave. Yeah. Do you does it give you the option like, hey, this is where they're buried now? Or do you just go to a grave
and you
go and you can find them?
Yeah, it doesn't give you don't have graves. Yeah, I don't know. I just saw one of those videos about 50 interesting details of the year, and that was one of them. So I'm like, that's cool.
Do the gravestones have the people's names?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Surely they would.
So intrigued.
Imagine if there's an empty gravesite, and as you kill people, it just gets populated with tombstones.
Josh's #1 game of the year, Watch Dogs Legion. Yeah. There it is. I haven't played it.
Just by thought.
Yeah. This is now my Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk's not on any of our lists. What is on your list? What's your number 2?
My number 2, it's probably cheating a little bit. But I've spent so much time in the last couple of weeks playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, good.
Spider-Man Remastered, so it did come out this year.
Yeah.
And also Miles as well.
I was going to say, you could just rope that in there.
It's the same
It's
game. Basically a DLC.
Yeah.
But I've just spent so much time with it. I've now completely 100%ed both of them. All the DLCs, all the remastered trophies, the New Game Plus trophy. It's all done now. It's all over. And I think I've just spent so much time with it and enjoyed it so much. I could jump back in and start playing it again.
Yeah, good.
It's so good. It's so much fun. But there's essentially almost nothing left for me to do.
We've done 2 podcasts. We've done a podcast on the original and that.
Yes.
So it's very hard to get any deeper. But yeah. Look, that was one of my honorables.
Yeah, so that was like, you were like, I'm not going to mention
it's probably going to come up. Yeah. It's great. I think, again, similar to The Last of Us, it's like if the story got me 100% in, it's probably be on the list.
Yeah.
But it's like just that tiny little essence of the story that didn't quite work for me is what held it back from hitting this top 3.
Sure. I will say, I have no idea what your number 1's going to be. I can't even think of other games that you've played
that weren't those 7 that I mentioned.
Unless it was... Ooh, I don't want to say it in case it is.
Well, I will say these are all very unique because I was like... It's been a weird year for video games in the sense that there's a lot... It's almost beige in terms of the things. And I will say... I know that there is a game that is in a similar vein that would probably be here if I had more time to spend in it.
I wonder if that's the game I'm thinking of.
It's possible.
Still don't want to say it.
Yeah, good.
Because I don't want to spoil your number 1.
Yeah.
The reveal.
So my number 1
that we're dragging out
the number 1 game.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one.
If there was just one.
If there was a single game.
If there was a single game that you had played.
That I would need about 20 minutes to get ready for would be Iron Man VR.
Okay.
This is the idea of a game that I enjoyed every second of.
Yeah.
I just had so much fun. And on the PSVR, which is the worst virtual reality unit possible.
Yes.
It is the worst. Every other unit, even the riffs and the vibes that came out before it, it is worse than them.
Yeah.
It doesn't...
Because it had to run on pretty old hardware.
Had to run on it had to run on a 2013 video game console.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. But, the thing doesn't hug your face, so you just have this light bleed the whole time you play it. There's no way to really adjust things to make them nice and flush. I'm pretty sure mine is fogged up from the inside from just pure sweat.
Right.
So there's no way to clean that off.
Yeah, and it is relatively low res at all times as well.
Yeah, totally.
It's 720p.
It's 720 at best. Yeah. But the mechanics of this game is... It's what Marvel Spider-Man does in terms of making you feel like Spider-Man. This does do the thing. It makes you feel like Iron Man. The world's a pretty low res, but it's, again, like Hades, you're in it. You're not looking at the world. You're doing the things you need to do, and it's all just enough. And outside of great mechanics and great sound design and great music, the story is really good. Like, it is a legitimately fun Marvel story. It hits the Iron Man Marvel tropes, of course. So does Miles Morales and Spider-Man. It's a comic book video game. But there is still some twists in there. There's some great character choices. In addition to Ghost, there's another villain in it. Which is like, when they appeared, I was like, really? Interesting choice.
It is interesting. I gotta say, though, it's interesting that they are sticking with Ghost being a female. Because Ghost was always just nothing in the comic books. It wasn't necessarily a dude or a girl. But they're leaning so heavily since Ant-Man and the Wasp. That Ghost is a girl. They're leaning so heavily into that.
Totally. And even the design
Iron Man VR's done that too.
Yeah.
They didn't just go, this is just vague
person. They have their back, like, that's the thing, there is backstory. In the same vein that, like, Ghost has backstory in the movie, like, they have a reason for her to be there and stuff like that. It's not, because, like, that's the thing in the comics, you can have a vague villain, but in a piece of media that you're watching or enjoying, it's like, if a character has no point in being there, you're like, get out of here. There is a reason that they've given her an essence and all the rest of it, which is really cool. And just generally a solid thing that has so much fun outside of it in, like, time trials and shooting galleries and all the rest. And apparently additional content. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that ever actually happened, but it's really cool. And just my game of the year. The other game that would be here, that I know would be here, is Half-Life Alyx.
Okay.
If I had spent more than 20 minutes in it, I'm sure it would be here.
Yeah.
It's a technical achievement.
Yeah, better VR unit.
Yeah.
So therefore everything's going to look and run better.
Yeah.
And also, like, that game should have been Game of the Year.
Absolutely.
Game Awards, Jeff Keighley, what the hell are you doing?
Friggin' Last of Us, get out of here.
Yeah. Like, I can't believe it still wasn't even
nominated. It wasn't nominated,
That's insane.
No. This game was on the VR list with Alex and stuff too, so it was at least looked at by people, which is cool. But that's my number one.
Cool.
Maybe you should by the time you have to go back, play through it.
Yeah,
probably got about 5 hours. Or
Sydney's still totally effed.
Yeah, it's not getting better.
It's getting much worse.
Yeah, but
there are now 2 new regions.
It's not good. It's getting closer to us as well.
Yeah.
It's just shrinking in. But you know what is getting better? Your list, because you got number one.
Nailed it. Yeah. What a segue. My number one most anticipated game, probably of my life.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I've been waiting. This is the one remake that I've wanted for so damn long.
Yeah.
And of course, it's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. Oh man, I spent probably the most amount of time with this game this year, and loved every second of it. Yep. Essentially was just replaying the game over and over and over again.
Like you did as a kid.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, like, in this, the stat points that you earn and all these different things, you have to earn with every skater. And they give you, like, 20 to 30 skaters. Yeah. So you have to go into every level and get the same stat points, sometimes in the same positions. Depends on what type of skater there are. So if they're like a street skater, then they're all in the same position for all the street skaters. The vert skaters, they're usually off ramps, stuff like that. So they put them in
like
logical places where you would expect. So again, I was just going in and
which it needs to be a good game if you play it that many times.
And it was so solid. They did such a good job. The soundtrack is still amazing. They got a lot of the original soundtrack from the original games, plus added a bunch of new stuff, which just worked.
Yeah,
like it just seamlessly went in, and you're like, that was in there, right?
Yeah, cool.
That song came out last year.
Yeah, good.
Like,
that's cool.
So good. Yeah. So all the songs just worked. They give you the option, if you don't like any of the songs, they give you the option to just turn off songs. They have the whole playlist. You can just say, I want this on my rotation, or I don't. You can skip through songs as well. But yeah, it was just so great. I'm like really hoping that they keep like
remastering.
Like DLCs of like +3, +4.
Cool. Maybe it'll be
it's so cool.
A Master Chief collection situation where it's just like They just keep going and
that would be awesome.
Inserting them.
There haven't been like any remastered things that have done DLC before. I feel like I can't think of a remaster that has added new DLC
prior to the collection, like outside of the collection.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
But yeah, I really want more.
Just one more game.
Yeah, but I loved it so much. I still haven't got the platinum because it's really hard. There's like just a real
is it online
a real
specific
grind to it. There's a lot of online stuff as well. And it's just like I just don't do online.
Yeah.
There's not many people playing it for me to like cheese my online trophies and stuff. So, you know, maybe I'll get there. But it was everything I wanted, and it was perfect. It was exactly what I was hoping that it would be.
Good.
And I have a new skateboard out of it.
Yeah, totally.
It's great. I have a deck just sitting at home.
There you go.
It's great.
As you were like leading into it, I'm like, what the hell could it be? And then as you were like, my favorite, I'm like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I forgot about that game.
Yes. I even brought it here. I don't know why.
Good. You finished it. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good list. So mine were Hades, Watch Dogs Legions, Iron Man VR. Yours
were Neversong, Superman, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Did you say Superman?
Spider-Man. I did say Superman.
I was like, is he getting it mixed up with the skating song, or was there a new
Sure, let's go with that.
Superman 64 remastered?
Yes, absolutely. Good. That was my...
Good. That's the new truth. Did you keep your miscellaneous Rex as well?
So this is just like miscellaneous
Rex other bits
and stuff.
Other things from this year that you should totally look at. That's what the actual podcast is going to be called. It's going to be called Things You Should Look At from 2020.
From 2020.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this came out this year. Batman Universe. I didn't even think of this until just then.
Yeah.
Really interesting Batman story. Bought it at the start of lockdown and smashed through it over a couple of weeks. That's not really smashing through a comic book. It's not that long.
No, Josh.
But it's pretty quick for how fast I read anything.
That's a Josh smash.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of a bit of like a jaunt through time.
That you don't have much left of?
Nah, that's it. Bit of a jaunt through time to like a whole bunch of different areas of the DC universe. Like they go to what's the Gorilla City?
Grodd City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Gorilla City?
Probably.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, where he is, they go back to...
like prehistoric?
I think there's a bit of prehistoric.
Yeah.
There is some Wild West.
Cool.
There's just stuff in like Gotham and whatever. And it's all to do with Savage, Vandal Savage.
Sick.
So it's all like, it's basically a Batman Vandal Savage story.
That's cool.
But then there's a bunch of other characters that jump in and out as well. There's a whole bunch of Green Lantern.
Cool.
Which is pretty random, but cool as well. Like it's great. It's a cool, really cool little story.
Yeah,
so I think I found out about it from Mr. Sunday Movies on the Weekly Planet, and when he mentioned it, actually, it was either that or his other, as he calls it, his less successful podcast, Suggestible, which is the one he does with his wife. Yeah. He says that just to piss her off.
Yeah, okay.
He usually does it the other way by saying, on my more successful podcast, The Weekly Planet. And that just pisses her off. And yeah, it's great. But yeah, I think he suggested it on one or the other podcast.
Yep.
And I was just like, that sounds great. And now it's lockdown and I got nothing to do. So I'm just going to buy that comic. And all of that other series, Nightfall.
Yep, that's right.
All of that.
Did all the books end up all right?
I got them all.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, including like the prequel. So there's 3 like huge, 600-page books or something, and then like a maybe 200 to 300-page prequel.
Yeah, good.
Haven't started it. I don't know when I'll ever get around to this, but they're there.
You've got
and
them.
They look great.
Yeah.
That would probably be my main other rec this year, other than go skateboarding. It's great. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. You'll progress all the time. You'll learn new things. You'll break your arm. It's good times.
That's what you learn the fact that a break and a fracture is the same thing.
The same thing. Who would have known?
Yeah. Well, not us.
Crazy, no.
Not us.
Who have never broken anything before. I don't think you haven't broken anything.
Maybe a glass or something.
Yeah, this is the first time I've broken something, so that's weird.
I got really worried when you did that and then pointed toward the glass. I'm like, you can't break that.
Well, I can.
This is what everyone can break a glass. Well,
how about you? Rex?
Yeah, well, I've got two things that are bound with paper. I believe that's what they are.
Books?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Cool.
Although technically, both of them could be digital. So,
Okay.
It's one of the big unfortunate things with books now.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Down with tech.
Yeah. My first one would be... Shut up, Josh.
Yeah. let me say my thing.
My first one would be... It definitely is. Mm-hmm. Is a comic series that actually wrapped up at the start of this year, wrapped up in Feb, which is Old Man Quill, which is basically...
Nice.
The Old Man Logan style, Old Man Logan universe. Mm-hmm. Old Man Logan kind of it's obviously one of the best Marvel comics to read. It sticks with Hulk related things. There's a Venom dinosaur at one point, but it's very much like
Venom dinosaur.
Yeah, Venom is Venom is infused with the skeletal remains of a T-Rex.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's the big bad in all the Old Man series. Okay. It's in Hawkeye as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sick idea.
All right.
But it played it safe with the old universe. Mm-hmm. Whereas Old Man Quill has him going to so many recognizable bits and pieces because he's got a ship. He can fly places.
Yeah.
So he goes to a lot of unique and interesting things, and it plays with the lore of well, what would happen with the Fantastic Four? What would happen with them? What would happen with their little robot Herbie? Would he still be alive? Would they be able to there's so many interesting bits and pieces from the Marvel Universe that gets pushed into that Old Man universe, which is really fun. And aside from all that, what is done with Quill and the Guardians in it is so cool. It is a twist that it's a twist that Will should have seen coming, but I was so engrossed in it that I got to the page and went, no way! So,
interesting.
And I think it's a 12-issue run as well, so it's quite short, but it's, it is something that I hope in 50 years they wheel out Chris Pratt and all the people and just make it.
That would be so sick.
It would be so good.
Oh, man. Please. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so that one is definitely well worth a look. The other one, I've only read 7 chapters of it, but the from a certain point of view, Empire Strikes Back book, it's already so good. So awesome. It's from a certain point of view, there's stories from within Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Basically, you see someone. The one that I just read, which is what makes me go I need to talk about this, is it's the character in the Empire Strikes Back, and the great thing about them as well is that they're not set up as the character until halfway through or almost when it's finished. That you're I
know who you are now. Yeah, okay, cool.
So it's the character that when Han and Leia are talking to each other that kind of just nudges behind them, awkwardly. So they're having their little tiff. Or, they're having a little tiff, and a guy just walks straight in the middle of them in the thing.
Right.
And all my life I've been that's freaking weird. And in the book it's I saw them and I'm I'm not dealing with this shit today. And then he just walks in between their conversation.
That's so good. So this book seems to be the nerds have watched the movie and they've gone, that person needs a backstory.
Yeah,
basically. And they've just written a backstory. That's awesome.
It's so cool.
There is a podcast that does that about World of Warcraft, kind of.
Yeah.
So in between segments of this podcast, because it's basically produced a radio show.
Yep.
It's called Azeroth Public Radio for all you World of Warcraft people. It is amazing. I only found out yesterday that they've released another 4 or 5 episodes.
Because you said it was quite a short run ages ago?
Well, they released 1 episode.
That's right.
And then in July last year, and then in March this year they released another one.
Yeah, okay, good.
That's the gap between them.
Good.
Because I think one of them had a big family breakdown and stuff, and so they were dealing with something. And then the next one after March was October this year, and then it's been nearly fortnightly since.
Yeah,
so it's they've found their rhythm.
Now they're in
after freaking months, 6-month gaps to 8-month gaps. And it is I need to listen to these new ones, but it is so well produced. But one of the things to get the fans in is they we want like, you people playing World of Warcraft, go find an NPC that doesn't give you a quest or anything because they don't have, like, a voice.
A dialogue options and stuff.
Go up to them and give them a voice through our podcast. So say, hi, I'm whoever from Stormwind, and when I'm not fixing armor, I'm listening to Azeroth Public Radio.
Sick.
And so you just, like, put on a voice, you record that, you send it into them, and they put it in between segments like an actual radio station.
Yeah.
Or like the Disney people that draw, like the celebrities that will like draw a Disney sign or whatever.
Yeah.
In between shows on the Disney Channel.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Such a great idea.
So cool. So yeah.
Similar kind of vein.
Yeah. But good. It's just like famous writers essentially giving a voice to people who like you just would not think.
Yeah. Like it ranges from something as like literal big as the Wampa at the start of it. Like you get a full backstory, which is like it's real interesting what they do with him. To then just like background extras and stuff. Like I am super keen to keep watching it, reading it. The way Will reads, it's a visual experience, especially because and it's very cool because it's structured like the film. So it's not like a bunch of miscellaneous just stories. It starts with someone that was manning the probe droids that are sent down to Hoth and continues from there. So it starts from the moment the movie starts.
So it's in order.
Yeah. So you are still reading a telling of The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view.
That's
what the idea of it is.
That's really cool.
So now I need to get the first one as well now.
Yeah.
Because I missed the first one.
Did you look it up? Have you?
No, I haven't. I never looked it up. Yeah.
We should look it up on the podcast.
Let's not look it up.
Yeah, nice. That's really
my
cool.
Rex.
I like it. Have you read? Has it come up yet? Rogue 2.
No, I think that's the next one.
Okay, cool.
Because Rogue 2's like that's in the film. Yeah.
Yeah. Because one of the other interesting things that basically the reason why I bought this book is because it was recommended on a Kind of Funny podcast by Gary Whitta, who wrote Rogue One, and for this he wrote a mini story called Rogue 2.
Yeah, good.
And so he talked about it, and I was like, Will would love that book. That sounds so good. So jumped on it, and then apparently it's a thing.
It's very good.
I hadn't heard about the other ones, the New Hope one.
Yeah.
So perfect. We should definitely look up to see
the originals are out.
The other ones are out.
But that's our things that we absorbed this year.
Yeah.
I'm like currently in a big like watching a lot of films from this year now.
Yes.
Because it's a tricky, like, the reason there's not, like, massive movies on the list is, A, they weren't released, but B, cinemas weren't showing them, so most of them are on streaming things, and I just don't have those things.
Yeah.
So I'm now on a burn, I'm going to burn through them all, because even though they're on streaming things, a lot of them are on, like, YouTube, their paid thing, like, just renting it, so I want to check out a lot more.
Yeah. And a lot of the ones, they're on, like, the American streaming services that we just don't have access to. Like, HBO Max have so much stuff for... There's, like, stuff on... Like, there's
Quibi?
shows that I want to watch, on, like Apple... Apple's TV thing and stuff. Like, there's a bunch of shows and movies on that.
Yeah.
They're like, I would love to watch, but I'm like, I don't want to pay for that.
No.
Maybe one day I'll just do it. I wanted to do it with Amazon as well. Just, either a free trial or just, like, pay for a month and just smash out the stuff that I want to watch in that month, and then I just pay for the month.
You should have, like, a list. Like, I want to hit 20 things, and then I'll do it.
Yeah, because I was going to do that for, like, The Boys, and there was a whole bunch of Amazon stuff that I'm like, I'll just watch that, and that, and then that'll be, like, my month.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah, good.
Maybe I'll do that one day.
Do that with The Boys. Watch The Boys with The Boys. But that's it.
That's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, and that's it for the freaking year.
It is.
In 12 hours.
In 12 hours, it's all over.
Crazy.
Unless it ticks over to 32nd of December.
Gosh, it probably will.
It probably will.
Will this year ever end?
No.
It's going to continue next year.
This podcast
it's going to be just
as bad. Just. Would you want to knock on wood after that? You wouldn't.
I don't know.
You'd want to avoid wood after saying.
We're not touching wood.
Let's not touch wood. For all next year, we're not touching wood.
No one touch wood.
No, you're literally on a chair made of wood. Damn it.
No one touch wood.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're just on the cushion.
Yeah.
You're on the cushion. If you want to be on the cushion, make sure you go to patreon.com/each to their own. We'll sell cushions with our faces on them.
We should do that.
And then you could sit on them.
I have cushions with Zelda's face on it.
It's normal.
We bought ours.
It's normal.
It's totally normal.
Let's do that. We'll work that out in the new year. There's some really cool stuff planned for the Patreon as well in the new year. So if you want to be all part of that, you can check it out. Yes. $5 will get you exclusive early access to stuff. $2 will get you into the Discord. Mm-hmm. It's very exciting. Something that I am going to post into the Discord, whether before or after this, is a kind of poll, because what we want to do, we didn't get anyone's Game of the Years or stuff because we didn't want this podcast to blow out. Mm-hmm. But what we do want is from our patrons, like, obscure games that they really enjoyed this year. Something like if Hades didn't get popular, Argon would tell us to play Hades. We want to know the games that, we didn't mention here or aren't really talked about in the games media, and we'll play them. We'll play your games of the year.
That'd be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, jump on a stream and play them or something.
Totally. We could burn through a couple. Yeah.
I'll be here for a while at this stage.
We're dealing with him for a bit.
Through heaps of them.
Get used to us being on the same screen.
It's great. It's great.
It's one of
the good upsides about not being able to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, make more fun content. And if you want to see that content, if you're on YouTube, remember to hit the subscribe and the like. And if you're on Spotify, do what you do there.
Follow
it.
Follow
the podcast.
And then just keep checking in. We get stuff nearly every week.
We do. We've almost got all our old podcasts. I think there's 5 more that I'm going to put up on there. Sick. Which I would have been able to put them all up if we hadn't recorded a 2-hour Mandalorian podcast. Yes. I kind of just cut off an hour of our time that I didn't think we would cut off.
Yep.
So
fair.
In the new year, our entire archive will be on the Spotify.
Yes. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2021 is much better than this year. We'll see what happens. No one touch wood, please.
No wood touching.
Wood touching.
The start of this year we had our... We don't have any this year. So we just have to purse our lips and just go...
We'll find... I probably have some stuff at home.
You definitely do.
We'll chuck up something. We'll send the Patreons a little New Year's message. At New Year's. That'd be great. Because, you and I, we're the only ones that we're hanging out with tonight.
Yeah, it's a very small party.
Because you can only have 5 people over, and Will's whole family's coming to my family's place.
So I've used up 3 of those spots.
It's going to be so quick.
It'll be good.
So quick?
So quick?
I don't know what that means.
We're coming over at 11:59.
That's it.
And then we're out. But we are definitely out. This is the last little bit of content for a little while, so enjoy it, relish it. We'll be back in the new year. Unless you're watching this in the new year, in which case we're probably back. I've been Will.
I've been Josh.
See you, everybody. Love you. Bye.
That podcast was so quick.
It was. We got through everything.
It was so quick.
It was really good. It helps that we've done like 40 other podcasts this year on the things that we liked.
Yeah. Just go listen to the other ones.
Yeah. If you want more us, we're around.
Yeah.